Have Lord Amar and the others seen reason, then? Cassia, whatever you found, you've perished for it. I won't let her work be in vain. There is something to be found here. There are a few locations listed. Let's travel to them and try some of these theorems. The formulae may be incomplete, but perhaps we can discover what she was looking for. It had to have been important.
Something just doesn't feel right about all of this. Umbra can look into the notebook, but I suspect there is something more going on here. It couldn't hurt to ask around Tranquillion and see if anyone's heard anything odd. I'll take the north side of town. You take the south, and use your discretion, my friend. We should avoid alarming anyone for now.
I don't understand. What was she doing with all this information?
There is far more to Tranquillian than meets the eye, it seems.
Note speaking of fear, of uncertainty, of some mysterious truth. This is not good. By all accounts, it sounds as if a cult has managed to infiltrate Tranquillian. If that journal entry was true, Cassia was attempting to leave it. We must tell Antonorian. He'll want to secure the town and make sure his people are safe.
Lord Antonorian is a very busy man. Who else will keep Tranquillian safe while the rest of Quel'Thalas falls into ruin around us? Perhaps I can help you in his stead.
I hope our fair town is treating you well. If you have any concerns at all, bring them to me. It is heartening that you trust me with these serious concerns. I've heard some odd rumors myself, strange happenings to the south, but also to the east and west and the north. Tranquillian is surrounded by enemies, it seems, since you are so dead set on your investigation. Would you look into something for me? There is an important report I need from one of my scouts. Check in with them while I check over the rest of town. Blast.it appears that cult has ears everywhere. Blast.it appears that cult has ears everywhere.
My notes, my research. I never should have left it alone. I was just beginning to understand the Void Storm. Everything I'd learned torn from my hands by cultists. Were they watching the entire time? Waiting for me to turn my back? I cannot let this stop me. They can't have destroyed everything. Perhaps there is enough here to salvage.
I was wondering where I'd left that.
This was your doing? What of the people here? You said you wanted them safe!
And I do. Look at the sky, Magister. You know what resides there. You know the fear it brings. The uncertainty. And when it unleashes, and it will unleash, the Twilight's blade will stand on the side of survival. Won't you?
I will not bend to you, or the Void!
Tranquillian will join us, or die. And you with it.
The Twilight's blade. Antinorian, what have you done? The Twilight's blade, attacking in broad daylight now that their cover's blown. We'll prove what a mistake that was. Slay the traitors and the creatures they've summoned. Destroy their effigies and their supplies. Make this retreat costly.
The Twilight's blade. I did not expect them to worm their way into Eversong. I will not let them get away with this. They will pay for what they've done. Some of the town's most respected citizens, traitors. How long has the Twilight's blade been here? How many scouts have gone missing? Crimes gone unreported? Innocents recruited by those they thought they could trust? They must be stopped. Cut down the traitors. Show them that Tranquillian is no home for cultists. We can't let the Twilight's blade get away with this. There are innocent citizens all over town who had nothing to do with this cult. You heard the governor. Anyone who doesn't join will be executed. I won't stand for that. Go, aid any civilians you can find. Get them out of harm's way. If they're being attacked, take their attacker down. Tranquillian will not fall under my watch. The Twilight's blade. I did not expect them to worm their way into Eversong. I will not let them get away with this. They will pay for what they've done. I fear this is far from over. We'll need to do more to reverse the damage done here, but this was a good first step. Thank you. You are safe, and so are the weary citizens of Tranquillion, thank the light. Umbric went to chase down Antinorian when the fighting broke out, but nobody has seen him since. I trust him to hold his own, but between Cassia's death and Antinorian's betrayal, I worry he may be so set on revenge that he won't see an attack if one happens. Can you find him for me? I'll stay here and make sure these civilians remain safe.
I will not allow them to get away with this. A map of Eversong, with multiple villages marked by the Twilight's blade.
Umbric scans the Eversong map with grave intent.
Tranquillion was marked, as are a number of other locations.
Umbric stops, voice tightening.
Windrunner Village. It is marked. The Twilight's blade retreated to their base in Deathhorn. But my home may be in peril. We must make sure my people in Windrunner Village are safe before pursuing them.
How thorough is the Twilight's blade infiltration in Eversong?
A bite wound wrecks hath Velian's fora.
Snapdragons. Cruel creatures made to kill and feed. Their poison moves as you move. The Naga bred the perfect pet. I am here on a tip from Lysara Duskmorn. Sunsail Anchorage's shipping routes have been sabotaged by the Naga, and those routes converge. Here, I intercepted a few shipments. Could you help me search them? My team is still out in the field, but they should report back soon. Lysara's suspicions proved correct. The Naga must be collecting arcane magic from sources all around Eversong. We must put a stop to it immediately. The Naga have a history of abusing arcane magic. I bet my boots this is no different. Arcane is their lifeblood and source of power. They are clever to operate now while Eversong is besieged by other threats. Since I became a Farstrider, I have safeguarded Eversong's western coast. My strike team set up watch on Golden Mist's perimeter already. Fortunately, the Naga do not seem interested in the town, yet, but they are far too close for comfort. Our course of action is simple. Clear them out. Fair winds guide your steps. My wish has come true. Eversong flourishes, but like before, evil threatens all that is good. 2 townsfolk are unaccounted for since the Naga arrived. Inith, Golden Mist's most curious apothecary, and Varnus. He is a student visiting from the city. It is my charge to find them. My fellow ranger veteran must still be in the field. I wonder if he has found something important. Will you keep an eye out for him? Fair winds guide your steps.
The arcane arts are not my specialty. I am more versed in tangible magic. Herbs, mixtures, distillation, topical applications, extraction, suture, pain-killing. Regardless, that wand. To my uneducated eyes, it looks usable. Why don't you test it on the Arcana container? Maybe it could help us against the Naga. If it is truly broken, no harm done.
me, then the effects of my stealth potion must be wearing off. I must be going then. I am glad you found me first. I've stolen samples of their arcana for investigation. Of course. This should be enough.
Did Captain Sungaze send you? Oh, he must be worried sick. I don't think he is going to feel any better after I deliver my findings. The Naga are gathering arcana from various sources and amassing it here. Clearly, some of them are using it to empower themselves, but the vast majority of arcana is getting shipped out to sea. To where and to whom, only time will tell. I made a grave miscalculation in this time of great darkness. I thought we were all doomed. that perhaps the Naga had the keys to survival. They don't want to share any of their power. I get that now. I don't know why they kept me alive. Please, get me out. It is a relief to know they are safe and sound. I hope Varnus will be all right. I saw him scamper back, face as white as a ghost, refusing to speak. He gathered his things and left. Thank you. I hope no other villagers will be tempted to enter the Naga's base.
You can just say I had a hunch about that wand. Although, be careful, it is powered up now. Don't accidentally drop it.
You've struck fear and death into their water-spawned hearts. Well done. We'll keep an eye on their base and prevent them from rebuilding. Well, you heard Numia. She'll have my bow split in two if I don't rest. Ranger veteran reported activity at the lighthouse. A swarm of mana worms are gathered there, and of course more Naga. If that is where the head of the snake lives, chop it off. My Ranger's veteran in Cronin will accompany you. And take the wand with you. It proved its worth. Powered up, it should pack a punch against whatever you face. The lighthouse itself was coming apart due to the increasing arcane energies both latent and collected. How ominous indeed. I'll deliver a report to Regent Lord Lorthamar straight away, thanks to you. My rangers and the town are saved. For that, please, rest and drink. The wand exploded. I suppose we now know why it was thrown away. You know, a bow would never spontaneously combust. This kind of tough work is what being a Farstrider is all about. I won't shy away from it. Deathhome was the source of much of it. Closer to the city, we've made improvements, but the South sat largely abandoned for a long time. It is only recently the Farstriders have been able to patrol it again. So all that vile magic lingers in the soil, and traces of it grow into the plants, and then animals eat the plants and it becomes a little more concentrated. And then when animals eat other animals, well, you can see how it becomes quite the problem. I am not worried. This is what being a Farstrider is all about. Much of the forest has recovered, but to the south, everything that Eversong has faced. The Scourge, the Fell, and now the Twilight's Blade. All that magic leaches into the soil. It builds up in the creatures until they're completely overwhelmed. My instruments can detect corruption in these animals. We can cull the ones that are too far gone and save the ones that aren't. It isn't fun, but it is for the good of Eversong. It is hard work, but it will bring peace eventually. These poor cubs, they survived only by the grace of that strange magic. I know better than to believe in the old tales, but what else could it be? Captain Dawnrunner was supposed to check on the Enclave and then meet us here. She is as capable a ranger as any. It is a bad sign if she has been detained. Farstrider Enclave is usually where they do wilderness training. With all the trouble, however, everyone's been dispatched elsewhere. She could be up there alone, in serious danger. There is no time to lose. I am going to save my captain and prove myself as a Farstrider.
This is what happens when there is no one around to sweep up. Everyone wants to adventure, but no one wants to sweep. We've been deploying Farstriders across the forest to fight the Amani, the Light Bloom, the Void. But for all our heroics, there is no one left to tend to the wildlife, or maintain the building, or keep track of supplies. And now our beloved Enclave looks like a Hawkstrider pen. I've had enough. I may not be able to help, but I trust you all can gather anything that was taken and get this place looking respectable again.
Captain Dawnrunner is fine. Thank the sun. The only danger was, we didn't keep up on our chores. It is not heroic, it is not romantic. But we can't go on with Farstrider Enclave in this state. The rangers here are overwhelmed. We can all pitch in to help them get it cleaned up again. I can't believe it all comes back to sweeping. That is what being a Farstrider is really about.
It is not as bad as it looks, and it is only this bad because we Rangers are needed so badly elsewhere.
Captain Dawnrunner sighs.
Still, the Farstrider Enclave is supposed to represent us. It should be kept neat, at the very least. If we want to be of any use to the rest of Eversong, first we must pick up after ourselves. This is a good start. All it takes is a handful of us putting in a little effort. My Rangers are earning their keep today, that is for certain. Taman has proved himself as capable as any Farstrider today, but I am afraid he might not see it that way. He came to us with such lofty ideas about the Rangers, all those swashbuckling adventure stories, all the romantic old legends. But at the end of the day, being a Ranger is mostly chores. Difficult, boring, important chores. Why don't you go talk to him and make sure he is not too disappointed?
We rescued our captain. From a twisted ankle, we saved Farstrider Enclave from dust and scavengers. I guess I've finally proven myself as a real Farstrider. The legends are real. Eversong must be pleased with us.